From the movie recommendations you just got to the route your map app picked out for you, our world is constantly being reshaped by machines that can think. That power is artificial intelligence, or AI. And it's not science fiction anymore. It's just part of our everyday lives.
And really, it all started with this one simple question. Can a machine actually think like a person? For the longest time, this was just something for philosophers to debate. But as technology got better and better, it became a real scientific quest, the very foundation of what we now call AI.
So, what is artificial intelligence really? Well, to put it simply, it's the tech that gives computers a shot at thinking and learning, kind of like we do. It's not magic, not at all. It's about feeding massive amounts of data into smart computer programs to create something that can understand our world and, help us solve some really complex problems. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the basics of what AI is. Then we'll peek under the hood to see how it actually works. After that, we'll get into all the different types you're probably already using, weigh the pros and cons, and finally look at what it all means for our future. Sound good? Let's dive in. This whole idea, this dream of a thinking machine, it isn't new, not by a long shot. It has roots that go back more than half a century, to a single moment when the idea jumped from the pages of a novel into the real world of science. People were kicking the idea around in the 50s, but 1956, that was the turning point. A bunch of scientists got together for a conference, and that's where the term artificial intelligence was officially born. A theoretical dream was finally given a scientific name. And now, fast forward to today, and that once niche academic idea is an invisible force that powers so much of our world. So how does a machine actually think? Well, like I said, it's not magic. It's really a powerful mix of three key ingredients. So let's step into the engine room and see how it all comes together. Everything in AI really boils down to these three things. First, you need data. And I mean tons and tons of it. This is the raw material, the textbook the AI learns from. Second, you need algorithms. You can think of these as the recipes that tell the machine how to find patterns in all that data. And finally, you need a massive amount of computing power to run those complex recipes at lightning speed. You gotta have all three or it just doesn't fly. Here's a super simple way to think about it. Imagine you want to teach an AI to know the difference between a cat and a dog. You'd feed it thousands of pictures, each one labeled cat or dog. The algorithm sifts through all of them, slowly learning the patterns. Pointy ears, whiskers, fluffy tail, that's probably a cat. After seeing enough examples, it can spot a cat in a photo it has never, ever seen before. That, in a nutshell, is the core of how AI learns. Okay, so AI isn't just one single thing. It's a huge field with a bunch of different branches. And believe it or not, you probably interact with almost all of them every single day without even thinking about it. So let's meet the AI family. First up is the big one, machine learning. This is exactly what we were just talking about with the cat photos. It's all about letting machines learn from data on their own. The perfect example? When YouTube or Netflix recommends what you should watch next, that's machine learning, figuring out what you like based on what you've watched before. Then you have deep learning, which is kind of like machine learning on steroids. It uses these really complex systems called neural networks, which are actually inspired by the connections in our own brains. This lets it tackle incredibly complicated patterns, which is why it's the tech behind mind-blowing things like self-driving cars navigating a chaotic street, or medical AI that can spot cancer in scans. Next up is natural language processing, or NLP. This is the magic that gives machines the power to understand us when we talk or type. I mean, every single time you say, "Hey Google," or have a chat with a customer service bot online, you're using NLP. It's the bridge that connects our human language to a computer's understanding. And then there's computer vision. This one is pretty cool. It basically gives machines the sense of sight. It lets AI look at the world and understand what it's seeing. Think about your phone's camera automatically knowing it's looking at a face to get the focus just right, or a security system that can recognize a specific person. That is all computer vision at work. But with all this amazing power, of course, comes a serious question of balance. AI has some incredible benefits for sure, but it also creates some very real challenges that we need to figure out how to handle carefully. Yeah, it's a serious trade-off. On one hand, AI offers amazing efficiency. It can automate all the boring, repetitive tasks so we can focus on more creative things. But on the other hand, all that data it needs raises huge questions about our privacy. And that automation, it could change the job market forever. not to mention the risk of it being misused for things like creating those super realistic but totally fake deepfake videos. So, finding the right balance here is absolutely crucial. And that's why right now, experts and governments all over the world are pretty much racing to create ethical guidelines and rules for AI. The goal is to steer this powerful technology in a direction that helps everyone, not just a select few. So, where does all this go from here? Honestly, the progress we've seen so far is probably just the tip of the iceberg. The future of AI is completely tangled up with our own, and it's a future that all of us are helping to shape right now. And this is probably the biggest question on everybody's mind, right? With machines getting so smart, is there a risk they'll just make us obsolete?
The answer, at least for now, seems to be no. AI is incredible at processing data and finding patterns, but it's fundamentally missing those things that make us human: emotions, true out-of-the-box creativity, and a sense of right and wrong. So instead of a replacement, the future looks a lot more like a partnership, where AI becomes this incredibly powerful tool that just makes us better.
So, what does that partnership actually look like? Well, picture this: a personal health assistant right on your phone, a customized AI tutor for every single student on the planet, or industries that run themselves. It could even be the key to unlocking new secrets of the universe. This isn't just a sci fi movie plot, this is what's right around the corner.
At the end of the day, AI is a tool. And just like any other powerful tool, its impact, whether it builds a better world or creates a whole new set of problems, is entirely up to us. It depends on how we decide to use it. So the real question isn't what AI will do to us, but what we will do with AI. How are we going to make sure this incredible technology serves all of humanity? That's the challenge and the opportunity for every single one of us.